What's going on, guys? Matt here. So today we are looking at the Joker Knives Lynx. Now you guys have seen this a couple times on my channel. I've brought it out as comparisons and kind of really talked about how much I've really enjoyed this blade. And so we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about the specs, what I like, what I dislike, and something unique as always. First of all, let's do some size comparisons real quick. So Joker Knives, as we do this, I'll kind of talk. Joker Knives is a Spanish company. Let's see, can you see this? Bowler in 695 Spain. Yeah. So Joker Knives is a Spanish company, and they make really outdoors knives, right? They make variety of knives. I've seen, really big ones, kind of dagger style knives. I think those are for like boar hunting. And then they make, smaller kind of bushcrafty knives. So this is in comparison to the Lion Steel. This is the T5, right? I think it's the T5. It's the T5 because the M5 is smaller. Right. So Lion Steel T5. Gosh, Lion Steel is so nice. I might come out with a video talking specifically about Lion Steel blades because I think they're outstanding. So yeah, T5. So got about a 4-inch blade on this, about a 5-inch blade on that. So a little bit smaller, but kind of in a similar category. Your smaller-ish style outdoors knives, you could say. So let's compare it to, let's see, brought this out last review. This is the Mora Knives Robust. A little bit smaller on that guy. This, I guess, is designed as a carpenter's knife, right? So like, you could pull it out, shave off some stuff on a 2x4, make it wedge in somewhere, stuff like that. It doesn't have a 90-degree spine like a lot of Mora's does. This has a 90-degree spine, and as you can see, maybe, yeah, I have used it on ferro rods or fire steels, and boy does it work. It works outstandingly. But anyway, I've vinegar patinaed. Anyway, these are like $18, fantastic. It's their carbon steel that they used. So yeah, about a 3.5-inch blade on that, so a little bit smaller. Okay. One more, kind of the bigger brother to the Lion Steel. T6 or T5, the T6. Yeah. Dang, do I love this blade, guys. I love both of those Lion Steels, but I think this is just outstanding. So look at that. CPM 3V. Oh, just a big, brutal blade. It's awesome. Okay. But as you can see, these are not in the same category. This is more in your SC6, maybe even SC5 because of, look at that thickness. Full-size kind of survival knives, SRK, even though, again, this is a little more heavy-duty. This is your more finesse knives, kind of like the Benchmade Bushcrafter. Very similar size, very similar style. Okay, let's move on to the specs. So we are looking at a 4.17-inch blade. It is a 4.8-inch handle. Which is made of micarta, polished micarta, as you can see. This is N695, which is a bowler steel, relatively similar to VG10. Austin is what I've heard, and kind of based on the formula I've seen, it's relatively similar. Blade is 0.16 inches thick, so that's about 4 millimeters, a little bit thinner than our other fixed blades. Usually they're around 5, but still, stout enough knife, I think, for its size. 7.1 ounces. Has quite a nice leather sheath, pouch style sheath with the buttons on the back for the snapback. Nice double stitching, well made. Comes in a box with like a paracord, and you have a lot of options with these. So depending on the price you want to spend and what you want, you can get this with a Kydex sheath, with a fire steel, without a fire steel, and so that's kind of vary. This is kind of the base model with the leather sheath, no fire steel. Right now they're going for around $90. When I bought it, they were about $70. So I think the knife community has caught on to Joker knives, probably because of Aaron at Gideon's Tactical. He's done a lot of views on them, and so did the Bushcraft Knives guys. They talked about how great they were, and they really are, and that's probably why the prices have gone up. So let's talk about what I like. I really like the overall design. I just think it's a nice, simple kind of companion fixed blade. Is this the only thing I would want to take on a camping trip? Heck no. If I want to have a fire, which oftentimes in Tennessee, you need a fire, or, if it's cold, or you just enjoy having one. You want to have something else, either a big blade or a hatchet or an axe. But this is a great belt knife, to have to do your food preparation, to do some whittling, to make some feather sticks. You're getting a fire started, make some kindling, stuff like that. So, but I like just that simple overall design. It's very simplistic, but not everything has to be super complex. Super complex steels, really nice steels, are super complex designs. Sometimes simplicity just works very nice. So I really like this drop point blade. Along with that, it keeps the handle, the stiffness quite nicely to the tip. So that's a pretty stout tip. Would not worry about doing a little wood prying with that if I needed to. You got a nice belly on that blade. Nearly half of it is belly, so it slices quite nicely as well. Another thing I really like is I like this handle material. It's polished micarta. It looks nice. It just has a nice look to it, and it's very well contoured. The fit and finish on this is very good. The liners are not proud. That's just as smooth as can be. I can't really tell the difference between the handle and the blade. Just very, very well contoured. A really, really nice handle. And that jimping, really good. Just really solid. It's not too sharp, but it does lock in a little bit. So that is nice. I also like that it has an exposed pommel. Again, I talked about this. I would never want to pound a tent peg in with that. I wouldn't want to pound it in with this blade either, to be honest. This isn't really your pounding in a tent peg kind of blade. But, it does come in handy for crushing things. I have used these before. I found walnuts on the trail, stuff like that. So that is pretty cool. And I always like an exposed pommel. It's just something that's easy to do on a blade. So do it, knife manufacturers, you might as well. It's not really, I can't imagine there's much more machining that goes into making it, a few millimeters longer than the handles. So another thing I really like is the sheath. It's a simple leather pouch style sheath, but I love leather sheaths. I obviously love Kydex as well. It's fantastic, arguably more kind of durable, but it's just very thick. Very thick leather, pouch style. So again, it's simple. It doesn't have to be complex, but it locks in there really, really nicely, and it's not going anywhere. So especially for the $70 price point I got it at, it's a great sheath. I just think that's, great job on that. Now, when I bought this originally at $70, I was like, wow, this is a fantastic price, because we're talking about N695 steel again, right? So your VG10 kind of levels of steel, if you buy a Fallkniven with VG10 steel, one of their full-size blades, 4 or 5 inches, I don't know their models that intimately. It's going to be a heck of a lot more expensive than this, though, even at $90. So you're thinking comparative steels, both knives, made in, places that are known for their knives kind of thing. Spain has been known for their knives for a very long time. As far as I know, they were actually known for their swords too. Let me know if you guys know anything about that in the comments, by the way. Anyway, so those are made in Japan, I believe, the Fallknivens. So this is just a lot cheaper, a lot more expensive than one of those. So comparatively, $90 is still cheaper, but at $70, I don't know if they'll ever drop back down. I doubt it, with the kind of credibility Joker Knives has gotten over here in the West now. But still, it's just a good deal. Price for materials, even at $90, it's still a good deal. It's not as good of a deal, but still a solid deal. Another thing I like is the options, and we talked about that. So you talked about your sheath options, your fire seal options. I think that's all for what I like on the Joker Knives Lynx. So let's move on to what I don't like. Really, it's just a couple things. So the people have talked about how they like the hump in these handles. I don't. And I think the reason I don't like the humps in these handles, depending on the knife, again, on those line steels, I don't mind it as much. This knife is quite, thick, so it has a really nice full grip. It doesn't feel like a small knife. It feels like a full-size belt knife. But because, again, I have short fingers, that hump just gives me less surface area to grip on. So I'm not super stoked on kind of that. I would have liked to have just something more gradual. Could have made a little bit of a hump right there, but maybe just a little bit more gradual. Some people like it, so that might be just, again, the way my hands index into a knife, but that's all I can go off of, guys. So that's what I'm going with. Okay, another thing I don't like is there's like 5 different fonts on this blade. Here, let me wipe this off real quick. Okay, so we have one for Joker. The Lynx is not, that's a different font. The BS9 is a different font. And there's also, can we see that? There is writing in there. I don't know what it says because it's so teeny. So we're up to 4 fonts. Okay, and then we have, let's see, another font. So 5, Bowler N695. And then I think that's a logo for the knife maker, so I won't call that a font. And then it says J Sabater, I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. That's 6. Oh, my bad, hit the camera. 6 is too many fonts to have on a knife, guys. Boy, you know, it's all laser engraved, and the laser engraving is actually quite nice. And I won't say it's as bad as something like this Carter Prime. Look at that. That's just, it's either Calibri or Helvetica. I think it's hilarious that they put this on a knife with fantastic materials. Titanium handle, titanium milled clip, D2 steel. I just think, why? Guys, with these fonts, you don't, I mean, this is just too much. Just put Joker Lynx and put the little, I don't know. Anyway, I just think it's silly. It doesn't bother me a ton, but I mean, it's just too busy. You know, like, if any of you guys are musicians, sometimes when there's like too much going on in a song, right? You call it too busy. There's too much stuff going on this blade. It would look so much better if it was just cleaner, right? And then I guess there is a third thing. With this model specifically, it didn't quite go down to the choil right there, that sharpening, but it's really not bad. So won't pay that too much mind. Okay, so what's unique? Well, I think that this is probably just a unique thing kind of here, and I'm in the United States and in Tennessee. Having a Spanish knife of this quality is really cool. Not many knives we have over here come from Spain. You know, a lot of them come from China, obviously. A lot of the kind of better, you know, manufactured knives, mass manufactured knives come from Taiwan. Some come from Japan, you know, and you know, with Lion Steel, they're coming from Italy, maybe Sweden from Mora. But Spain is just not a place that I've gotten many knives from. So I think that it's really cool, really quality knife made in Spain. Maybe that's just a thing over here. Let me know if you're in other areas of the world and you have a lot of Spanish knives. You may. Anyway, this is an absolute recommend. I think it's a great belt knife. Even at the $90, $100 you're getting it for, still really good materials for that price. You know, if you think about to get a similar knife, let's say from like SE or something like this, you're going to spend more for a 1095 SE4 than you will for this blade. N695 is going to be not as tough, but that's a pretty stout blade, so I wouldn't be terribly concerned about this breaking for like light batoning. I think it would be fine. Kind of the stuff that you would do with a blade like this, it's going to be fine for, if that makes sense. You know, it's not going to be as robust as this Lion Steel T6. You know, this is a 0.2, I think 22 millimeter thick, or 0.22 inches, 5 point something millimeter thick blade. Yeah, this could baton through just about anything. It's also 3V. So, but, you know, this is a different style knife. You know, it's more of a belt knife. So when you compare it to other blades in its class, I think it's punching above its weight for what you're paying for it. So I think it's an absolute recommend. Pick you up one of these Joker knives. They have a lot of options. They're coming out with some bigger options. The Joker Nomad is one I really want to get my hands on, and they have like a Nomad XL now. It's like a 6.5 inch blade. Really like that. So I'd like to get my hands on that as well. But let me know what you guys think of the Joker Knives Lynx. If you have one, let me know some knives you'd like to see me review. Always looking for recommendations. And make sure you like and subscribe. Keep up with the content. Got more knife reviews coming up. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good one. Peace.